Can't move that chain with wind. It's way too heavy. There is no wind coming in here. There's no wind even fork up.
Fuck! Someone in our tent? Oh, you know what that is?
Out in the wild, danger does not always rush at you first. Sometimes it waits outside a tent while your dog panics or moves a heavy chain in a cave with no wind at all. If the place around you starts reacting, would you keep filming or leave immediately? On October 10th, 2023, a solo camper from the YouTube channel Grizzly went into a deep, forgotten woodland on a Tuesday night. He was not there to enjoy the scenery. He was looking for a clearing that local stories had linked to ancient pagan rituals. After making his way through the trees, he found a massive fallen tree that matched the descriptions he had been given. The place looked bare, twisted, and unsettling.
You know what day it is, don't you? Eh? It's a school night. But it's not unusual for me, that. But I'm in this woodland and I've heard that pagans come in here to do their rituals. Is that what you want to call it? So I'm looking for, it's a large down tree and it's around this area somewhere. So I'll have to figure out where that is quickly because we're losing light.
You enjoying yourself there, mate?
I think I found it. Don't know, does this look like a pagan ritual site? I'll tell you one thing, it looks creepy, so let's camp here, shall we?
Still, he decided to pitch his one-man tent right in the center of the area. As the temperature started to fall, he cooked bacon and mash while his dog Fendi grew uneasy outside the tent. The ground around them was covered with dry leaves, making even the smallest movement sound louder in the dark.
Now that should give me a little bit of warmth as well. It's dropped recently. It's gotten really cold for some reason. I need to ask you, have you ever lost a pair of trousers? I lost my sausage jack trousers, my brown ones, and I've no idea where I put them. I haven't been anywhere to take them and take them off, so I've no idea where I put them. So I've had to go and buy some more from Decathlon.
One thing many campers worry about in wooded areas is a widowmaker. This is a dead or broken branch hanging high in a tree. When wind rises, it can fall without warning, which is why experienced campers avoid sleeping directly under dead wood. Soon, the wind became stronger. Cracks and snaps echoed through the canopy as branches shifted above him. He called them widowmakers, heavy dead limbs that could drop during the night and crush anything beneath them.
I can definitely hear something out there. I can't see out. Oh, that's nice, isn't it, mate? Fucking hell, that were a big branch, wasn't it?
But the noises did not seem to come from the wind alone. He started hearing heavy footsteps moving around the thin walls of his shelter. They sounded too steady and too deliberate to be a random animal moving past. Someone, or something, seemed to be standing just outside the reach of his torch.
Is it just wind or what? I think it's just wind. It's picking back up again now. So I hope there's no widowmakers fall on us. Would be no good, would it, mate?
Oh, fuck!
Fucking hell. What the fuck? Fendi! Fendi! Come here, mate.
Then, Fendi began trembling uncontrollably. At that moment, the camper realized his car keys were still inside the tent. He was outside in total darkness, exposed and vulnerable, quietly trying to calm a dog that seemed to sense something he could not see.
Fucking hell. I'm gonna have to go back and get my stuff, man. My car keys are in there as well, in the tent.
Suddenly, the night erupted with the sound of many men screaming and charging through the brush toward him. It sounded like 20 or 30 people moving through the woods all at once. He ran from the area, and when he later returned, his tent had been ripped apart and the poles were snapped like toothpicks.
When I was packing up, I managed to get my sleeping bag and everything and get that in my backpack. Then I heard loads and loads of screaming, like shouting from men, and it sounded like there were about 20 or 30 of them. And then they all started running, and it sounded like they were coming towards tent, so I just grabbed my bag and off skis, because my keys were in my bag.
Maybe the danger that night came from people already hiding in the woods. Maybe the location had brought more than one group to the same place. But when a dog panics before the camper understands why, it leaves one simple question: what did Fendi sense before he did? Would you remain underground if the only exit was a ladder and the chain beside it began moving on its own? One camper tried to make it until sunrise, but the cave did not remain quiet. Field Days follows a man known for taking solo journeys into the Australian bush. On October 3, 2021, he hiked alone for hours to reach a remote cave. His friend had warned him not to sleep there after feeling so intensely watched inside the cave that he left within minutes. But he entered anyway and decided to remain until sunrise. The cave, however, appeared to have other plans.
This is like a pretty manly dude, and he reckons he was like fully wigging out. Like, he sort of went into the cave a little bit and he just had that feeling of like he was being watched. He reckons he hightailed it out of there, and he told me about it, and he said to me, "You will not go and sleep in that cave." So here we are, we're in the middle of the bush. We are steaming towards the cave right now. Once we find the cave, we're gonna crawl inside. We are gonna sleep there for the whole entire night. We're gonna go sleep in this so-called haunted cave.
Near midnight, he was sitting alone inside the cave eating baked beans. Then the chain at the entrance suddenly began moving. It shifted quickly and forcefully, then stopped completely. He froze because there was no wind inside the cave.
That is beautiful. Baked beans in a haunted cave. Oh my fucking God. That was the sound. That is the sound. Did you hear that? Look at my arms. I got full goosebumps. It's the chains moving when I climb down the ladder. It's a big, heavy, thick chain. Wind can't move that. Holy shit.
The chain was thick and heavy. He stared at it, trying to understand what he had just witnessed. Then it moved again. Caves can make sounds feel harder to trust.
I really hope you guys heard that chain move just then. It is 100% now. I heard it before that you climb down into this cave on. It's moving. You can't move that chain with wind. It's way too heavy. There is no wind coming in here. There's no wind even forecast. Holy shit. Oh my God. You must have heard that just then. Look at my arms, dude. Oh, this is fucked. Holy shit. That's not normal, dude. I'm freaking out. That's that chain. That chain's moving.
A small noise can bounce off stone walls, shift direction, and seem to come from above or behind you. In a dark cave, even a normal sound can become hard to locate, especially when the person hearing it is already tense. By then, he had heard another strange noise for the third time. He could not describe it clearly. It sounded somewhere between a cat hissing and a human voice, and he said it was something he had never heard before in his life. He grabbed his pack and moved toward the ladder. At the same time, the bats suddenly became active. They started flying everywhere even though they had been completely still only moments earlier. He stood near the ladder, caught between leaving the cave and forcing himself to stay.
It's the third time it's happened now, and I'm almost about to abort mission. But I've got the only way up is that chain. Yeah, this is freaking me out a little bit. All right, I'm just gonna go sit back down in my corner and just stay very alert. Not gonna lie, this is a little bit freaky. Okay, well, I've got my backpack back on and I'm booting on out of here. I just heard a sound. It's definitely not a normal sound and I'm scared shitless, I'm not gonna lie. It was not normal. It's probably about 2.5 hours after I checked in with you guys, and that sound was not normal. I'm getting out of here. The bats, can listen to this, just listen for 2 seconds. Hear the bats? They're going weird, the bats are flying around here, they've not done that yet.
After 2:30 in the morning, he had spent about 15 minutes searching through the cave. Each time he heard the sound, he moved toward it, trying to find where it was coming from. But he never found anything. There was only the noise somewhere in the darkness above him, around the wet walls, and the growing feeling that whatever made it knew exactly where he was standing.
Okay, it is up around 2:30 in the morning right now. I've heard that sound again. So it's between a cat hissing and it sounds like human voice. Like, I'm not even joking. It sounds human-like. It's an extremely weird sound, and as soon as you hear it, you just get riddled with goosebumps. I've walked around the cave. I'm trying to walk in the direction of the sound, and I've been looking around for, I don't know, the good part of 15 minutes now. I can't see any movement. I can't see anything. It's just really strange.
Maybe the sound came from something natural inside the cave. Maybe the chain moved for a reason he simply could not see. But when the noise keeps returning, the bats suddenly react, and the only exit sits in the same direction as the movement. One question remains: would you have stayed until sunrise? Vicky runs a camping channel centered on the calmer side of outdoor living. Her videos often show isolated places, quiet lakes, and nights spent far from other people, the kind of content that makes viewers want to pack a bag and vanish into nature for a weekend. In this particular video, uploaded on December 3rd, 2021, she and her friend Amy went to a peaceful lake area in the Snowdonia region of Wales. The plan was simple: find a beautiful location, stay overnight, and enjoy the quiet.
Here's where we're going. So we think we found quite a little quiet lake spot for tonight. It's near Linogwen. Hopefully think I've been quite clever in where we've parked and how we found it. And I'm thinking we're going to be fairly alone tonight. See that little dot up there? That's Amy at the top of the hill. And here's me back at the bottom. We forgot the water filter. And we realised when we was right at the top.
After a long hike, including one annoying walk back down the hill because they had forgotten their water filter, they finally made it to the lake. The area looked exactly like what they had been hoping to find.
So here we are at Lynn. Beep. They've covered up the car park, which is here. There's no longer access to the world's most perfect car camping or van spot ever. But yeah, here's our location.
They set up camp, got comfortable, and allowed the evening to settle around them. A group of sheep slowly passed near the campsite, grazing calmly beside the lake. Everything felt quiet, slow, and peaceful, the kind of night people picture when they think about wild camping.
So the sheep are now making their way around the lake in an orderly fashion.
They went to sleep without any serious worries. Morning came with nothing strange happening. They made coffee, packed up their belongings, and started walking back down the trail toward the car. That was when the entire trip turned into something completely different.
I have 4 flat tires, and a smashed windscreen, smashed window, complete with rock inside. Poor car. I've been on the phone for 57 minutes. For someone who didn't want us to stay here, they've made us stay here a real long time. The breakdown people don't cover it, so on the phone with the insurance, I'm gonna have to make a claim, but it's not gonna be repairable apparently because of the damage, so it's probably gonna be bye-bye car. Even yesterday somebody else was parked just over there, not blocking the gate as well. Another local person walking to the lake. He saw us probably, yesterday when he came in, heard the cheep. Because it's not like we're in the way of the gate, so what other reason could it be? No, nothing was stolen from the car.
The question that remains is why it happened. Their car may have been parked close to a gate on someone's land, but it was not blocking the entrance. Nothing had been taken. That detail changes the feeling of the entire situation. When a car is damaged but nothing is stolen, it often suggests less of a robbery and more of anger, a warning, or personal frustration. In remote places, disputes over parking land access or private property can sometimes become ugly very fast. Next to the wrecked car, there was also a dry patch on the ground, about a meter long, roughly the size of a quad bike or a small vehicle. Whoever did this had not been away for very long when Vicky and Amy came back. They may have missed the person by only a short amount of time, which makes the discovery even more disturbing. At least Vicky and Amy were unharmed. Whatever anger drove someone to destroy that car in the middle of the night, it stopped with the vehicle and did not go further. But the uneasy question still remains: if they had returned a few minutes earlier, would they have found only the damage or the person responsible for it? The next unsettling video of the night comes from Overland Nomad, an American overland and off-road adventure channel that features vehicle-based travel remote camping and exploration in the wilderness. It is February 24th, 2026 at South Padre Island, Texas, United States.
Take a break from work, from daily life, and come out here in the wilderness and sit by the fire. I think all of us need a little reset every so often, doesn't matter who, everyone needs one. It's important.
David gets settled into his beach campsite after finishing his preparations for the evening with his dog Piper close by. He starts cooking fajitas and places lights around the campsite. The beach is mostly empty, with only a few distant fishermen visible farther along the shoreline. Other than that, the area feels quiet and isolated. The wind, which had been stronger earlier, starts to calm down.
Cooking, and I was just having to stare through the window, and I see a light like coming up, like someone walking. And yeah, it was a lady. I saw there was a car that went up to the east cut, and I do know that there's one car out there. I could see its lights, and I guess they're stuck. I would love to help, but I'm by myself. There's no one out here, and I don't know if it's a trap.
While making dinner, David notices a light slowly moving along the beach in the direction of his camp. As the figure gets closer, he realizes it is a woman whose vehicle has gotten stuck in the sand nearby. She explains what happened, but reacts strangely when he offers to help. Even when David offers his phone and other forms of assistance, she turns them down. Her behavior leaves him feeling uneasy. Being by himself in a remote place with very little help nearby changes the feeling of the encounter. Trusting his instincts, David starts getting ready to leave the campsite.
I was thinking about just camping a few miles south. She's like, I don't know how you're gonna go to sleep. I called 911. I called the county just to report it, and then I told them my predicament, and the guy was like, oh yeah, that sounds super sketchy, I'd probably leave.
After securing his equipment and packing up his gear, David contacts local authorities to report what happened. However, he is told that no immediate help can be sent to that location. The lack of nearby support strengthens his decision to leave instead of staying in the area. Even when the natural surroundings appear peaceful, unexpected encounters with people can quickly change the situation. In isolated places, it can be difficult to know whether someone truly needs help or whether the situation may involve hidden danger. It raises a simple question: when camping alone in remote areas, how should someone decide when to help and when it may be safer to leave? On July 31st, 2025, Paranormal Discovery posted a video from a remote forest reserve in the United States where the channel follows strange investigations, isolated places, and unexplained activity after dark. The area was a dense, quiet woodland known for unusual energy and odd wildlife behavior. Thick brush, scattered cliffs, and heavy silence created what would become a deeply unsettling night. The investigator arrived with his dog Akia, not realizing the night would include strange shapes, eerie sounds, and unexplained movement around the campsite. Some people enter the wild searching for fear, while others only watch from safety. But in this case, the line between curiosity and danger started to feel very thin.
I'm just gonna leave this recording because
Grandfather.
really we need something
Success.
just to like freaking be recording if anything were to go down. Any noises. Damn, why is it blurry? Whew. You know, I kind of like having this girl around, man, on adventures. This one, she did pretty good. She didn't seem to be overly too freaked out. All right, okay, let's go.
He moved carefully through the dark woods, sweeping his flashlight across the trees and shadows. Every cracking branch and distant rustle made the place feel less stable and more unpredictable around him. Akia reacted to things he could not clearly see, growling and smelling the air as rough, raspy sounds echoed from the cliffs. The noises sounded disturbingly close to human voices, but nothing visible explained where they came from. With every step, the unease became stronger, almost as if the forest itself was awake and watching.
Yo, we just got robbed. Yeah, and someone just came and took the tent. What the fuck? Can you see that? Why is it over there? Why is there a tent over there? Someone in our tent? Akio, what the fuck? Oh, I'm shaking. Oh, shit.
Dress.
Yeah, it's gone from our spot. Someone in our tent? I'm armed and coming around. Are you in the tent? Come on out. I literally see like weight in the tent.
The noise was him.
What? What noise? Okay, this is not funny. Whoever's in the tent, come on out. I'm actually armed. Hello? What the fuck? Kia, what the hell? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Someone's hiding? Yeah? Is someone hiding?
Knox.
Tree knocks. Holy shit.
Hopefulness.
There's no fucking way, Kia.
We live in the shadows.
Okay, what? Oh, you know what that is? It's a porcupine. This thing's heavy to freaking drag, bro. Oh my god. Someone
Now.
came to the camp and like legit moved our tent to the other side. Monkey, back.
I was so scared.
When he returned to camp, he found that his tent had somehow been moved across the clearing. Akaya immediately became visibly tense, focused on something just beyond the light. Rustling, snapping branches, and low growls seemed to shift around them in the darkness. When he later looked through photos, faint human-like shapes appeared near the tree line, even though nothing had been visible to his eyes at the time. Panic began to build as he rushed back toward the tent, unsure what might be moving nearby or how close it truly was.
This way.
Let's play a game.
No freaking way. Damn game.
You are harmonious.
What is going on right now? Okay, key.
Watch out.
Fuck. Yeah, this is a weird one. Someone's over there. Oh. I literally got in the tent, laid down, and I fell asleep. Currently right now it's 2:37 a.m. I'm getting freaked out. I thought I was hearing some stuff down there, but legit I keep feeling like that could have been like in my head or like a dream or something. It wasn't a long sleep since we last like came up here, but I don't know. It was very, very light, and you almost feel like no time has passed at all. You know what I mean? You okay? You're a good girl. She's been doing good. She's doing okay. I think whatever is out there is getting to her as well, because it was pretty loud. At least one of the sounds that I heard came from out there. Nervous, dude. It's nerve-wracking out here, man. Like you don't know what's gonna actually come at you. Okay, I'm gonna try and get some more shut-eye.
Inside the tent, he kept watching the woods through night vision while Akia stayed nervous and restless. Low moans, quiet whispers, and distant growls drifted between the trees.
Something's out there. Good girl. I legit woke up to that. There was something moving. Okay. I don't know what to think right now. Oh, I'm freaked out. Almost sounds like something's moving out there, but it stopped when I started listening. Something is circling our tent right now. I do have a night vision on the other side as well, so it's kind of crazy right now. All of our batteries are drained. This one has like 3 minutes left. Alright, I think it's time to hit the hay, get some more sleep, and wake up in the morning.
The activity seemed to continue from several directions, with sounds circling the tent and heavy footsteps moving just beyond the light. Akia kept shifting and growling, making it harder to believe the sounds were only in his mind. Exhausted, but too afraid to fully rest, the investigators stayed alert, listening into the silence and trying to understand what was outside nearby. By morning, the feeling of being watched had not completely faded. The strange sound shadows and unexplained movement left him shaken and unsure of what he had truly encountered. For Paranormal Discovery, the night became a disturbing reminder that some forests can feel empty until something begins answering back. Maybe there was a simple explanation hidden in the dark, but when a tent moves, a dog reacts and sounds circle from every side. How long would you stay before leaving? A group of tourists had been walking through the bush, casually recording the landscape around them, capturing what appeared to be another quiet outdoor moment. Then, with no warning, everything changed suddenly. From between the trees, silent, sudden, and extremely close, a local indigenous man stepped into view. The mood shifts immediately. What had been a simple scenic walk turns into a tense encounter in the middle of nowhere. To understand why this moment feels so intense, you have to understand a little about New Zealand's indigenous people, the Maori. The Maori are the original Polynesian settlers of Aotearoa, arriving over 700 years ago. Their relationship with the land runs deep. Forests, rivers, and mountains are not simply part of the scenery. They are ancestral places tied to identity, history, and spiritual belief. Some places are considered tapu, meaning sacred or restricted. And while most Maori communities today are welcoming and fully part of modern society, entering certain remote or culturally important locations without permission can be seen as highly disrespectful. What makes this footage unsettling is not obvious aggression. It is the isolation. The Blue River area is not a busy tourist location. In some places, you can be miles from help with no easy way out if the situation becomes worse. The man does not appear extremely violent, but he also does not appear welcoming. And when you are standing in unfamiliar territory far from help, that feeling hits much harder. So, we can only hope the moment calmed down and that the tourists returned safely without being harmed. Still, when someone appears that suddenly in a remote forest, it is difficult to know whether it was only a warning, a misunderstanding, or something more serious. If you were deep in the bush and a stranger stepped out from the trees like that, what would you have done? Another case brings us into a remote, snow-covered forest where a hunter found himself in a moment that turned a normal hunting trip into a struggle to stay alive. Sergei Korolsky uploaded the incident on March 8, 2021, showing the tense and frightening moments exactly as they unfolded. The day had started like any ordinary outing. The forest was quiet, buried in deep snow, and the sharp winter air carried a heavy silence. The hunter and his friend were tracking game when movement in the distance caught their attention. At first, it was only a slight motion, almost like a shadow passing between the trees, but that shadow quickly became clear. A large wolf had seen the hunter, and within seconds the situation changed completely.
Кирилл! Смотри уже! Стреляй! Стреляй!
Without warning, the wolf rushed forward. The hunter froze for a moment, his heart pounding as the animal charged through the snow and closed the gap with terrifying speed. The wolf's teeth were showing, and every stride brought it nearer. In that moment, the hunter's friend reacted quickly. He lifted his weapon and fired.
Блядь, теперь я могу сказать, это был пиздец, блядь. Пиздец, покажи ружье. Он меня прыгает, я...
The shot cut through the silent forest. The wolf fell almost immediately. Its attack stopped just before it could reach the hunter. Shaken but still alive, the hunter stepped backward, trying to process how quickly the moment had become dangerous. For Sergei Korolsky, the encounter became a harsh reminder of how quickly things can shift in the wild. He left unharmed that day, but the image of the charging wolf stayed with him long after he walked out of the woods. Maybe it was nature acting on instinct, but in that moment there was no time to think. If you were standing there, would you freeze run or trust the person beside you to react first? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story. Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.